out there. Seraphim17 once again. This is a reaction commentary to the newly announced Void mode in Devil May Cry 5. So, if you're wondering what this is and you haven't heard anything about it, Void mode is essentially a training environment that's going to enable the player to practice and hone their devil hunting skills. Much like God of War in the past, Bayonetta, games of that nature, it's going to be an environment where you can spawn enemies and get the enemies to do certain things and test out your equipment in an interesting place where you don't have to worry about any kind of punishment for messing up or wasting time. And this is something that I think that these action games will benefit massively from, because when they're at their most complex, and they can get very complicated once you understand the systems and you start playing them at a higher level, they do get very much like a fighting game, and much like fighting games, it's really nice to have an environment where you can test things, where you can check frame data, where you can understand recovery, punishes, how to dodge, when to dodge, and really study and analyse things, and that's hopefully what this mode is going to be. The video that I'm analysing here, guys, is a much bigger video that was shown at, I think, the Xbox event recently. And in this video there is talking, so once again you'll hear the music, and the talking is explaining a lot of really important things, but because I wanted to react to this without any kind of bias or understanding, I've not watched it. So what you're going to see here is all the moments where they showcase the Void knit together into like a seamless yet jarring sequence of footage for me to look at and kind of estimate and guess and just kind of give my own point and lookers on exactly what I think it's going to be. And then when you actually watch the video with the Japanese people talking in the translator, you'll find out what it is and know that everything I said was wonderfully wrong. But in the spirit of kind of seeing this and reacting and getting excited, we're just going to check it out now. So let's do that. So in true fashion, I've slowed it down, and as you can see here are the menus. The Void is there just above the gallery, and then immediately you see Begin Training. It's a start, customize, you can pick your character, you can pick your equipment, and then it puts you into this wonderfully like imperial realm of an eclipsing sun in the distance, this white expansive landscape, and all of these wonderful vanilla and various shades of clouds with the reds and the maroons and all different hues. And then it shows you enemy action, enemy damage, and you can select the enemy that you want to choose. You can change whether or not these options are applied so that you can really mess around and dick around. I'm very excited to see if you can get a ton of them on the screen at the same time and learn to fight like 50, because if you can fight 50 at the same time on Dante Must Die, you're going to be fine. But here we go. You can recover Exceed, you can recover the charge on your gun. There's a whole host of different modifiers to mess with. And on the screen, not only can you see the inputs, what the player is doing in the bottom left, but you can also see the total damage that you do to the enemy. So with this tool, you're going to be able to figure out exactly how much damage each attack does and really maximize your offense and what you want to do to people. So here is Nero choosing his different busters. This is the Gerbera, or Gerbera, however you say that. This is the massively powerful buster arm doing the big blasting laser. It's got all kinds of optical flares and lens flares happening. You can see that he's holding B right now and messing with the analog, which is a kind of cool detail for the audience to see what you're doing. And then he swaps over to the Gerbera GPO-1, which is some kind of derivative of that original weapon. 59 damage done at this moment. Here is one of the Bs. Then the damage went up to 183 as he knocked it out of the sky with the anti-air just then. Once again showing more footage of Nero. He does this kind of evade, this jumping evade move that has this ability to knock people around. You see him do it mid-combo and then knock people away from the group. It seems to me like the kind of thing that you're going to use after a launch to isolate one enemy and then go into a full combo. Here is the Pasture Breaker, which is obviously some kind of joke arm, where it fires a fork that then knocks the enemy towards you or away from you, so you can use it like Scorpion's wonderful chain to bring people close, or his spear on a stick, whichever, or spear on a string, sorry, spear on a rope, whatever you want to call it. Each of those hits is dealing damage. You can see the inputs that he's doing, holding the R1 to lock on right now. I really hope this game has a toggle lock on. I think toggle lock on is the future, but it's going to be great to have it as two options, because all the hardcore players that have been playing Devil May Cry for years are going to need to be able to hold that button because there's so much muscle memory associated with it. But here he goes with the Mega Buster. Obviously it's inspired by Mega Man. I love it that Nero keeps spinning his gun. Right there was an evade from Nero, and I don't know if it's the table hopper move or if it's just his roll now. He does that kind of sexy slide under attacks. And then this is the standard Sin looking enemy with the great scythe and his shitty rags. There's the launcher into a couple of gunshots. Each of the gunshots not doing too much damage. The launcher seemed to do a nice, decent, what was that, like 100 chunk of damage. You can see him tapping B right now. There was the evade, tapped A just as the attack happened. While locked on, got the nice slide. There he is pulling the gun out again and doing the little lilt with the gun, the flare. Love to see that when they spin the gun. That was in rare footage of Nero using his revs and exceeding his attack, which I'd love to see more of because it really is one of the coolest aspects of Nero and one of the highest skill ceilings on him. But I apologise that it was just kind of all stuck together. There was a lot of talking and then transitioning back to the fellas that were playing, and they do give you a lot of context for what was happening. But so far from what I've seen, I love the damage numbers. It's going to really help me lab some of the elements that I'm going to want to do. We're going to be able to find out just how much damage the enemies can do, just how much damage the enemies can take. We're going to be able to see every move when we need it and how to dodge it, and the best way to get effective at doing so by just staring at it and working on that muscle memory. You're going to be able to hopefully spawn a bunch of enemies that shouldn't go together that's going to make some really interesting combat scenarios, which could make for great videos or just great practice. It's going to give us hopefully tools to really analyse and really delve deep into these awesome looking enemies and their awesome looking abilities. So I'm stoked to see that this is something moving forward because I love training areas, I love practice modes. I think it's an additional tool to help the player reach a new height, and I'm all for the players bettering themselves and increasing that skill ceiling. So what did you guys think? Thank you for watching, and you take care now.